about 1.5 miles from the Pakistani border. There's another one!
The unit returned fire and evacuated one injured ANA soldier. Back in real time, the 82nd continues tracking the enemy.
We're just looking for anybody that's anybody that has a backpack, something they could be carrying weapons in or IEDs, because they like to come from Pakistan across the mountain range all the way to the highway here with weapons and IEDs, and then they bring them up into Kabul and they bring them up down into Gardez.
The 82nd knows that the enemy can be hiding behind any of these outcroppings, and being ambushed is always a possibility. Each of these soldiers carries more than 60 pounds of body armor, ammunition, and weaponry up the steep slopes.
The ass kicker of the hill, huh? Certainly is. Truck getting warm? Yeah.
Got a big pile of donkey manure here. Still slightly green in the middle of it when you break it open.
Some shoe leather?
No, lobster tail.
Lobster tail.
He did say lobster tail. It's a sure indication that high-ranking Al-Qaeda or Taliban was definitely here.
Some recent activity, seen footprints up here before we even came up here. Somebody been coming up here.
And you see that there's the remnants of a meal, is there?
Yeah. One thing is, I can't tell how long ago.
There's also been animals up here.
Yeah.
Locals with transporting.
Right there. Now, do they also use the mountains to try and hit at you?
A lot of these positions up here, if you look at some of these rock formations, they can easily set up just lay a rocket there, set it up to detonate on a timer, and it's very inaccurate, but they can still, you know, it's a success for them just launching the rocket. They don't necessarily have to hurt or kill one of us. Just them getting a rocket launched and firing it in our direction, it's a successful mission for them.
It's a game of cat and mouse, throw in the impossible terrain and ever-present danger, and one comes away with how difficult it is to fight this new enemy. Special Forces has received a call from an old friend who is a former warlord and now the police chief in his small village. Meet Mr. Turbakan. A weapon has appeared in his compound, one that could shoot a helicopter out of the sky if it gets into the wrong hands.
The main reasons for our visit with Turbakan today is she has a BM-12 rocket launcher that he would like us to take off his hands. Turbakan got it from someone turned it into him, and so he called us. And we're right now dealing with it, dealing with him on this issue, and as usual, having a little bit of the chai.
Some Afghans are still hedging their bets on whether the U.S. has the staying power to outlast the Taliban. A cup of chai, one rocket launcher taken out of circulation. Such is how progress is measured in this new war on terror.
He's handing it over, or we get a small reward?
We're going to turn it into a small reward. He didn't have to.
Right. He's been really good about turning stuff in.
So what is this? This is a BM-12. It's a Basically, they'll shoot 12 107 rockets. It's got a range of about 9 kilometers. It's a good piece of equipment not to have out there in the wrong hands. The real success to this story is that these people are turning this stuff on their own free will. They're coming to us. They're not asking for money. They're just wanting to give us this stuff to get it out of their system so that bad guys aren't able to get a hold of it and use it against us or their own government.
Again, thank you. We appreciate that you turned in the weapons.
We've come now to the final resting place for Mr. Torbakan's rocket launcher. You'll notice it's got some company.
Right now we're standing in the foreign munitions holding area. You know, the majority of what you're seeing was actually brought into us. The Afghans themselves, you know, local nationals, you know, they know where all this stuff is because it's been sitting around for years, you know, since the time of the Soviets. And then, of course, some of it's been brought in, you know, by the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and other ACM.
Do they feel safe enough now that they can give up this ammo, give up their weapons, and not worry about their safety?
We've had a great success. They know if they bring it to us, a Special Forces camp, you know, we'll deal with them. They are afraid to bring it or to transport it around, you know, other units and other coalition units because, you know, they are scared that they'll, you know, get arrested or someone will misunderstand what they're doing or, you know, because they bring it in by the truckload.
These are 107mm rockets here, and they've been used regularly against U.S. Special Forces. These are Afghan security forces, and we're looking at what's called EOD, or Explosive Ordnance Disposal. Incredibly important, not only because it takes these off the market in terms of being used against U.S. forces here, and most importantly, it dries up the basic materials of the insurgency. Yeah. Down there.
Who's in charge of the fireworks? Crystal Timmer. Although she's a friendly face with women and children on raids, her real job and passion is explosive ordnance.
Right now, I am doing the cap workup. These are the Mark 152 receivers. This is how we fire our shot.
And how does Crystal destroy ordnance? With more powerful ordnance, C4.
Anything could be used for an IED against our forces or, you know, the ANA, Afghanistan National Army. So it's gratifying to get it out, you know, take care of it. It's never going to be used again.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Local Afghans rushed to the crater to scavenge the hot metal remnants from the explosion. This scrap is a valuable commodity to these poor villagers.
We're going to go up into Muhammad Agar, which is an area that we haven't had a chance to visit during the day yet. We're going to get a feel for the roads, get a feel for the city a little bit. I'm also going to look for the governor's spot, which is one of the polling places, okay? Like I said, there's nothing missing.
The 82nd Airborne, led by Lieutenant Williams, is heading out on another patrol mission. When they head out, they know they're playing a dangerous numbers game. Williams' platoon typically manages to get itself ambushed 10 times a month.
Roger, be advised, I have 3 victors, 13 personnel in a patrol heading north into Muhammad Agar. Lock up.
And when the ambushes on the road don't flush out enough enemy combatants, they'll head up into the mountains to a crowded village in a deeply Taliban-infested area. They patrol this area often. A few weeks back, they had a firefight where they killed several anti-coalition militia and took one of them prisoner.
Whoa.
The tension still hangs heavy.
Assalamu alaikum.
They stop when they notice a wounded local. Lieutenant Williams tries to sort it out while the medic tries to stop the bleeding.
From what I understand from the police officer, there's a tribe of Coochies, a small village just to the east of the town. The Coochies and the locals here, they sometimes have conflict, they clash, and that's just kind of what we stumbled upon here right now. There wasn't any weapons fire or anything like that, but just a little bit of fisticuff. Well, I'm having the medic clean up the gentleman here. He's got a bloodied eye.
Careful with that epinephrine. It's an auto-injector. Don't stick yourself with that.
But there's something else today that has Williams genuinely troubled.
This is a new education center that the Afghanistan aid program built. It hasn't even been moved in yet. I mean, they haven't even started operations, and you can tell it's a relatively new building. But what I'm noticing now is 1, possibly 2, 3 RPG blasts, small arms fire across the face. Obviously, someone stopped on the road, just unloaded, and took off. So, really sad. But one of my concerns is I wasn't notified about this. This happened 10 days ago, and we were in sector 10 days ago, and no word. So we took our report, we got the location, we're gonna find out from the police why this wasn't brought up.
As usual, Williams is pretty low-key about it, but you can sense the frustration. It's not just the property damage to the school, though that's considerable. It's knowing that the ACM is upping the fear level in villages like this, something he's here to counter. They move on to the next village. They've been here before as well.
A couple of weeks ago, we had to come into the city to do basically a search. We had some intel that there was a meeting going on that we'd be interested in, so we went in there and detained about 14 individuals. Until we could actually find out if the intelligence is good or not, it's kind of uncomfortable for them because it was a holiday when we went in there, and unfortunately kind of messed up their plans for that day.
So Williams and his men are making amends.
Ask him for, what I'm looking for is some adults.
What we're trying to do is give them to the oldest or the biggest. Because if I give them to the youngest, it causes a problem. Hey!
Give me. Give me.
Radios are something they can use to monitor their elections, which are coming up. And the last time we came in here, we had business to conduct, and sometimes business isn't as always as comfortable for bystanders as you would like it to be. So we came back in here just as an attempt to do something nice. So whenever they see an American soldier, it's not always, you know, oh my gosh, here they come. So it's just something that we could do, something small, but who knows, maybe one of these little ones will remember it someday.
In the new war on terror, success isn't a body count. It's giving people enough hope in the future and faith